Welcome to the broadcast for the Harvest News Network. I'm Bart Clairman. Joining me today are two very distinguished guests, Sarah Aurora and Jordan Straybeck. They are the two newly elected SA co-presidents for the class of 2014. Congratulations on your win, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
So, just quick little background on both. Sarah is a 2009 graduate of Stanford University, where she studied engineering and biology. Prior to HBS, she worked at McKinsey, and before that, Kleiner Perkins. She also served as a consultant for TechnoServe. Jordan is a 2008 graduate of Texas Tech University, where he studied economics. Prior to HBS, he worked in the Office of the Chancellor at Texas Tech. We want to begin by asking you what your priorities are for the year ahead in your term as SA co-presidents.
Sure. Yeah, so I can start with the first kind of large platform, which is around accessibility and affordability. Mm-hmm. So one thing we're really trying to do next year is to bring more events on campus to, number one, make them more accessible, mm-hmm. and then number two, to actually make it a more affordable experience for all. So what that includes is having more outside sponsorship and having more events that actually don't cost anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the other thing that we focused on in addition to accessibility and affordability was kind of continuing what Laura and Kunal did in terms of culture and community on campus. And so we want to expand some of the things that they kind of started the ball rolling on, like TGIFs, extending
mm-hmm.
those through the year, making better use of the grill to kind of make that a communal hub for activity on campus. Things like that, all the way to placing maybe a little more coordinated emphasis on community service next year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe integrating that into Field 2. There are some different things that we feel like we can strengthen and kind of enrich the entire HBS experience
right.
in that vein as well.
So there's a lot in there. So start with the first one, with the events. The sort of events perhaps that you'd like to bring to campus. Is there anything this year that you felt was kind of a good template for the sort of event that that you thought was very popular, that you'd like to do more of, bring more of to HBS next year?
Yeah, so we both love the idea of Trivia Night for two reasons. First of all, it's incredibly accessible and affordable because it doesn't cost anything at all. I think the second part of it is that it taps into a completely different social network that is not always the best served at HBS. Mm-hmm. The people who don't necessarily want to go to the white party or even some of those people wouldn't even want to go to Holodazzle because the cost is so prohibitive, and it gives them a social outlet to connect with people that perhaps are outside their section, and so that's something in particular that we were excited about and hope to continue.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime you can make things on campus that are both easy for people to get to from a transportation standpoint and kind of convenient to stop by, it doesn't necessarily have to be like an event where there's like an agenda that the SA is carrying out. Like, it can just be, a college football Saturday where there's college football going on down there, and maybe there's some things like that, watching the Man City game or what, like things like that. And then the other aspect of it on the affordability and accessibility side that Sarah kind of alluded to is we want to put a really strong emphasis on outside fundraising and increasing sponsorship and development, because we want to not only make events that are existing like Holodazzle, Newport, EC Forum, whatever it is, more affordable, and we feel like we can do that if we can raise some outside funds to do that. But also it really enriches our ability to add additional programming and kind of continue what Laura and Kunal did in terms of reimagining public spaces on campus. And that's
right. I mean, as far as pursuing partnerships or sponsorships, I mean, is that something where the two of you would kind of tackle that responsibility, or is there a team that you would be able to kind of assemble in order to, make those things happen? How do you?
Yeah, it's a good question. And it's a very relevant question for Jordan and I right now because we're in the process of building our executive team.
Okay.
So right now we rejiggered the org chart a little bit. We've kind of put out the job descriptions, and this year we are actually having 2 chief development officers dedicated to this particular activity.
Mm-hmm.
So those people, and we're looking for people who are ready to just hit the pavement and talk to and reach out to kind of every connection that they have, every connection that we have, to really bring in money. Jordan and I will absolutely be supporting in that role from a contacts perspective, also just from a general efforts perspective, but we are hoping that we have 2 really strong CDOs who are ready to take that and run with it.
Yeah, if you look a couple years back, I think in maybe like 2008, the SA raised closer to like $100,000 in outside sponsorships, and that's dropped steadily, and it perked back up a little bit this year with the current officer team, but it had dropped, I think, at one point to about $30,000, $35,000 on a $1.2 million budget. And so I think after talking to the current officer team, and we're going to kind of continue to try to pick their brains about what we can improve on and that sort of things. But I think one part of it is us having some more time hopefully to focus on that, and two, expanding adding that second chief development officer to really put a priority, an emphasis on that.